So bear with me. They're using implantables and using tech, messing with my memory, and using devices to disrupt conduction, part of their witness tampering tactics, like I've been saying. Only desperate people need to make all these covert devices for witness tampering. Key point. But some of their game of chess involves purposely withholding evidence to prolong something, such as trying to dig up dirt. So they're purposely withholding information, purposely lying, as if teams of people going around, meeting people, pretending to be investigators, trying to get dirt, trying to invite them to some game or some betting ring, luring them into their game or betting ring, then trying to, boom, get them involved in something illegal, tie some hands. And then once they tie their hands, they become a little Pinocchio, a little lying wooden boy. So that's a piece of their game of chess. They'll try to blackmail them to bring false testimony, blackmail them to do this, blackmail them to slander, blackmail them to do that. At the same time, they're also withholding evidence, buying time, trying to manufacture evidence, learn new ways to manufacture evidence, conspiring lies as a community. They like to operate with what they call strength in numbers. So they all just show up, start peddling bullshit, and just try to overwhelm you and data overload your brain to where you're like, what the fuck? It's my theory. That's the vibe I've been getting from what I hear. Another piece of their game of chess is also holding me hostage while they bombard me with telepathy, neurophysiological weapons, shocking my heart, shocking my genitals, trying to enrage me, and then trying to capture videos of me getting enraged and flipping out so they can sell a false perception of psychosis. So that's another piece of it. So I guess their thought processes is flipping me out every day, trying to make me look psychotic, invading my privacy, recording me illegally in the privacy of my own home while I'm flipping out, compiling some video list of me flipping out, saying, see, look, he's psychotic. You're relying on the psychotic guy's information. But here's the way you refute it. When you see my DOJ letters and my information, my other letters, if he's psychotic, why are you all stealing his information? Why are you all stealing his ideas? Why are you all stealing his methods of analysis document? So he's psychotic, but then you're using his information. That it seems like a contradiction. Or he's psychotic, but then you're writing his letters for him and using a psychotic guy's name that you've been telling people is psychotic. Why? So nobody reads his letters because everyone thinks he's psychotic. So that's where you refute him if they're like, oh, well, look at this. And then you're like, well, then why'd you use his name? Well, you're using a psychotic guy's name. So no one reads a psychotic guy's letters. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Oh, you're using a psychotic guy's info and ideas as well. That doesn't make sense either. So that's a key point. So that's how you refute their little list of whatever they're doing. So they literally so part of their game of chess is holding me hostage, committing neurophysiological assault and torture, and trying to flip me out. There's other components of that flip out too, as there's that chosen one jazz, and they love to capture audio, chop it up, misrepresent it somewhere else in a different game or different realm, and maybe make it look like orders or this or that. So that's another piece of their little tactic. Audio manufacturing and audio misrepresentation. It's all in my methods of analysis. 1,400 pages. You got to read it. There's so much key information in there, your mind would be blown. Anyone who tells you not to read my info, covering something up, bet my life on it. Anyone who tells you not to read all three DOJ letters covering something up, they're even using tech on me when I talk. They're trying to make it look like some speech impediment or something. That's a piece of their hustle too. Just all sorts of discrediting tactics. They operate. A lot of their tactics revolve around discrediting legal, political, and financial opponents, as well as other opponents, using this covert weaponry, telepathy, implantable devices, all sorts of jazz. That's how they operate. That's a key piece of their jazz. So a lot of them revolve around discrediting and then also manufacturing evidence, strength in numbers, blackmailing people, false testimony, impersonation accounts, imagery hustles, blah, blah, blah. But another piece of their game of chess is purposely withholding information, prolonging a case, manufacturing evidence, creating a data nightmare, creating a fucking headache. Then you have to shuffle through all this bullshit. While at the same time people are going through all this data and wasting time with it, then they have other arms doing other side jobs, for instance, potentially implanting people or floating around, inviting people to betting rings, illegal investments, tying hands. So they got all sorts of jazz. So they have all these distractions. And then while people are distracted with this other jazz, they got little arms floating around the globe, not just in America. There's people leaving America, and they may be floating around implanting people, recruiting people to illegal investments, recruiting people to gambling rings, and trying to tie hands. That's a piece of this. That's my theory. I feel highly confident about that theory. Not 1,000%, but I feel highly confident. And they lie about their connection. They lie about the California guys being connected to New York, Dubai, Connecticut, Houston, Woodlands, Dallas. They were all connected and linked, and they were all communicating and collaborating. One way you can check for collaboration is they all use the same information, the same lies, same distraction lies. So that's a piece of their jazz. They also supposedly all have my ideas, so that can show a link between them. They also have my data, and they all fight over my data, which is really weird. From my DOJ letters to my ideas to even arguments I use and things I say. So that's a key point. But yeah, all the people telling you I'm psychotic, go see their DOJ letters and then be like, why are you using this psychotic guy's DOJ letter? That makes sense. So that's a key point. More of their game of chess. Let's get back on point. I have ADHD. So, and they haven't been letting me take my Adderall because I'm, quote, psychotic. Like I said, in 2018, they were trying to neutralize my dopamine. They were trying to destroy my dopamine rewards pathway to counteract the effects of Adderall. They're going to do a lot more than just counteracting the effects of Adderall. Let me put it that way. So that's the type of scientists we're dealing with. They're really not scientists. They're just crazy people armed with new age neurosurgical weapons from satellites. Don't know much science. Let me put it that way. They don't even know what a confounder is. They don't even know what errors or instrumentation are. They don't even know how to design an experiment to account for confounders. They don't even know experimental design. There's a lot of things that scientists know that they don't know, which should tell you they're not scientists. For instance, the fact they even think they have a right to do neurosurgeries without a neurosurgeon's license and understand why it's important to have a neurosurgeon's license as well as informed consent before you ever do any surgeries. Yeah, they don't get that either. So key point. Don't mean to be a dick, just saying. Game of chess. That's where I was. So part of it's prolonging, floating around, trying to tie hands, blackmail people for false testimony, manufacturing evidence, maybe baiting people and using distraction. So baiting people, trying to pull them into fights with this technology and then catching them and trying to tie hands and blackmailing. So they do a lot of baiting, ego attacks basically for baiting. Oh, you suck at investigating, fuck you. And then they try to bait you, something like that. That's what I get the vibe of hearing a lot of that. It's maybe like 103, some of their distractions. It's in that key components of their terrorist plot. So they do a lot of baiting for hand tying, is the vibe I'm getting. What else are they doing? So they like to attack your ego, always be a professional. Don't let the ego get a hold of you, and then you won't fall for the bait. Don't be a fish. I don't know. Fuck you. They're using tech on me now. They're trying to neuromodulate me and exaggerate this response because I said something stupid. It's also a psychological tactic to try to make you feel like you're accepted or approved of. But this is my theory. Some may approve, but some also are trying to trick you. So don't fall for it. So key point. Yeah, but they did use some neurosynthesis and they have this thing called neural trace that maps firing patterns, and they can like refire a certain pattern, and they also have this neurosynthesis jazz. So they try to pull hustles with you. So be wary if you have any of this inside your brain and body. I'm not sure if you do, but if you do, they'll try to trick your nervous system. They'll make you think. You'll see Satan. You'll see behaviors of Satan, and they'll try to make your brain and body tell you that they're not Satan. So keep that in mind. So don't get tricked, because they actually try to manipulate your nervous system, and how you perceive things in order to try to trick you. So be wary by manipulating neurochemistry, firing of neurons, mapping certain emotions and feelings during certain periods, mapping them and then refiring them they'll map them with the neural trace and then refire them with, I don't know what they call it, but they've hinted at something called neurosynthesis and neural trace. Seems like it's neural mimicry. They're just mapping the firing pattern and then refiring it to recreate this fake artificial feeling or emotion or whatever they mapped, basically. Oh, so it's kind of creepy, but it's weird. Cool, but dangerous. So game of chess. So a lot of blackmail is involved with their game of chess. Illegal investments, illegal gambling rings, theft, baiting, setups, watchful waiting, telling you things are all good, the coast is clear, and then they try to pull you into something and get you set up, tie your hands. What else are they doing? A lot of misinformation and manufacturing. What or something. They're using tech on my brain right now, so they're trying to throw me off. They're using their covert witness tampering tactics. So they use them all day. They have an army of shitbags stalking me. Literally, even when I'm on YouTube, they have shitbags start using tech on my brain to disrupt communication, try to take me off of my train of thought, things of that nature. Bet my life on it. It exists. Swear my mother. They have implantable devices. They're very small. They stick them in your brain while you're sleeping at night, and they'll turn them on and off to disrupt things. Oh, also holding you hostage with the neural implant as part of their game of chess, and just holding you hostage, bombarding you, trying to dig up dirt, asking you questions. Sometimes even they'll try to play friendly with you and this and that and try to get you to share information. Always tell them to eat shit. They're terrorists. They're evildoers. Ask them if you got a warrant. Uh, yeah. So that's another thing. So they have different tactics. Whether they'll act aggressive or sometimes they'll act friendly and try to get you into sharing mode. So don't fall for that. Sometimes I just share because I just share stupid stories, but part of it is also sharing mode, and then they try to trick you. But I always tell them eat shit. But I tell them stupid stories. There's nothing really to share. But yeah. So that's a piece of it. Another piece of it is them maybe operating in numbers and slandering you covertly in their game of chess and peddling their manufactured data character profiles and manufactured neurophysiological profiles, manufactured mind outputs, telepathy, taking advantage of people with the novelty of the tech covertly and undercover and talking to people ahead of time while they peddle their slander. And that's a piece of their game of chess while they're floating around showing people slander, manufactured evidence, and then trying to sell this story of credibility and novel tech, and it's infallible, and people don't know what the hell is going on. And they'll try to peddle slander that way to cultivate negative sentiment towards you as a community. So if this were to ever go to court, they already have this seed that's been planted in their brain. So that's a piece of this. So that's another way they operate in their game of chess. If I think of more, I'll let you know, but that's another piece of it. But that's a piece of what these kids are doing while this is being prolonged and they're withholding evidence. They got kids manufacturing evidence, trying to cover up their slander with telepathy and manufactured telepathy. They're trying to cover up manufactured mind outputs. And they're trying to cover up all sorts of stuff they were using for a frame. So that's a piece of it. They're also trying to cover up the frames they've been committing and the frames they've attempted and trying to fix their telepathy data. If you look at my methods of analysis, you'll see all these different ways to catch them in lies about their telepathy being authentic, and it'll prove it's not authentic. Let me put it that way. From me saying my dog Capriccio's name every morning, to the documents on my computer that should be in the telepathy, to this conversation right now that should be in the telepathy, or this YouTube video, to my Dritz_71 Twitter tweets, my Alexander J on 2-3 Twitter tweets, all my idea documents, the notes saved on my Mac, and the notes in my iCloud should be in the telepathy. If that's not there, it's not authentic. Because and even they said, "Oh, we typed it for them." I would have read them, so that would be in the telepathy, whether they typed it or not, which they didn't. They lie about that too. They'll be like, "Oh, he was in the psych ward." Why don't you check the dates of input into my computer? And when I'm in the psych ward, when I was in the psych ward illegally, you'll see nothing was put in my computer. No ideas were made. Nothing was put in my DOJ letter. If anything, I heard people were tampering with stuff and erasing key information. So that's a key piece of the story too. So there's a lot of evidence tampering going on involving RICO, terrorism, organized crime, and more, as well as witness tampering. So how are these kids not in prison already for 20 to 40 years? Not to mention psychological torture, neurophysiological torture, sexual torture, attempts at humiliation torture. For instance, trying to broadcast me when I have man time, which is just creepy as fuck. And they like surround me in some community and try to talk to me via telepathy. And while some of these weirdos interact with my genitals, sometimes they have people using devices in my genitals in antagonism or in opposition. Someone's trying to stimulate, someone's trying to inhibit. It's fucking creepy as fuck. And they actually get pleasure from this. I mean, these are real life psychopaths. Bet my life, like really unfit to be in society. How are they not in prison? That should be a clear sign. Anyone trying to mutilate someone's genitals and getting pleasure from that, that's some sick shit. You wake up, that's like guys from the movie Hostel, Saw combined, sick shit. So key point. So that's just some of the kind of guys we're dealing with, just to let you know. Fuck, I'm just saying. But if I think of any more of their game of chess, I'll let you know.